welcome to my channel. My name is Willa Rose Moondancer and I make videos here on YouTube. Today I want to do, I guess, another little story time. I've been doing these more recently lately. I guess a lot of stuff have just been happening. I have made a video or two where I've either mentioned or had the main focus be on polyamory. And I've talked about how I've been in a poly relationship for the last 4-ish months now. And I thought, now, since I've already talked to you about the different types of relationships, I figured I would talk to you about mine specifically. I'm not really going to use any names. I'll use made-up names just to keep people's privacy, because I haven't really asked if people are okay with their names on the internet. So my male partner will be Zach, and my female partner will be Jessica. So first I will kind of start off on how we got to where we are. So firstly, I was already in a relationship with Zach for 6 years and some months, just monogamously. We've always been a little bit more open compared to our peers, but nothing crazy. However, during last summer, it would have been, we started talking about the possibility of including another person in a relationship. And so that was a conversation that lasted for quite a few months. It's not something that one should just breeze over, and if you stay until the end of the video, I'm going to have some questions at the end that you might want to discuss with your partner before committing to a relationship like this one. However, that is what we did. After talking for a little bit, a month or two, we've decided that it was something that we did want to pursue. And so to pursue it, we made Tinder accounts and all other dating accounts. And something that I have discovered is people are terrible at having conversations on the internet. Absolutely rubbish. I would ask them a question, and instead of answering it and asking me a different question back or asking how about you, they would just give me an answer and that would be the end of the conversation. So we went quite a few months with zero progress. We probably started Tinder in June, late June maybe, and did not have a successful conversation until November. At the end of November, I matched with Jessica on Tinder and I messaged her. And we hit it off really well, and I talked to her for about a week before I gave her contact information to Zach, just kind of vetted her, and she passed. And so a week or two after we had been talking, the three of us set up a date for all of us to meet together at the Board Game Cafe in our city. And that went very, 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 very well. And so that's kind of how things started. Now I'm gonna kind of not talk about it too much, but just kind of some key points that have happened and that are happening, and then we will get into some questions. So some things that people might be wondering: do we go on dates together every time? Do we go dates solo? Do we do other things solo? Do we do other things together? And to answer your question, the answer is all of the above. We do solo dates, solo stuff, we do group dates, all that jazz. It kind of just depends on what we're doing and if the other person's interested. And then March break came. I worked during March break, but Zach took work off, and Jessica doesn't work. She goes to school, and so Jessica and Zach had the week off, and so they spent a lot of time together. I got to spend the evenings, and I took that Friday off. So I did get to have a long weekend, and that was kind of like a little dip into living with each other, because Jessica stayed with us for an entire week, as she lives about an hour away. But then the virus happened just a few weeks after March break, and Jessica has been living here, and it has been fantastic. And if you haven't heard, Zach and I actually just bought a house, and we're gonna be, hopefully, as long as the virus isn't messing anything up, and it hasn't seemed to yet, we should be moving in May 1st, and Jessica is gonna join us and live with us, and it's gonna be fabulous. So that's kind of how we got to where we are. I know a lot of people probably were wondering how that came to be, because it's kind of a weird thing. But then I just have some questions that you might want to discuss with your partner that you're monogamous with, if you are trying to go about polyamory in the same way that we were starting out in a monogamous relationship. So something to discuss is, what do you want out of the relationship? Do you want a second partner for you guys to share? Do you want each of you to have your own personal partners and the other person does not interact with your partners? Are you just looking for a romantic, platonic relationship? Are you looking for just a sexual relationship? Are you looking for both? Are you looking for another life partner, or is it just something that you picture being temporary? And these are all questions to ask. Then you have, will you all live together? So this would be a little bit easier if you are just 3 people all in a relationship with each other. That would be a conversation, will you all live together, for that kind of dynamic. I'm doubtful that if you all have separate partners that you will all be living together. It sounds kind of like a commune or something. But if that's your thing, do it. Are you allowed to be intimate by yourselves, or does it always have to be as a group? That is a big conversation, because just because you're not jealous in a group setting does not mean that there won't be any jealousy in a one-on-one situation. And then another thing to think about is kids. You know, if something happens by accident, are you guys going to someday want to all have kids together? Are you going to raise them separately? Are you going to raise your kids all together? These are all things to consider. Obviously, if you're just starting a relationship, these things aren't going to be happening for a while, but I think it's really good to talk about it before then. That way you can gauge where your partner is at, and these should be conversations that you're continuing to have throughout the relationship. You should have checkup points. You know, when my partner, Zach, and I first started seeing Jessica every couple weeks or so, every week maybe, we would just have a checkup and be like, you know, how are you feeling about this? Is there anything that isn't working for you? Do you need to talk about anything? Do we need to change anything? Are you happy? Should this be happening more? Yada, 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 yada. All that kind of stuff. But yeah. think that's it. If you have any questions related to this topic or any other topics, please leave them down below in the comments. I love video recommendations. I would love to do a Q&A if there was ever enough questions that I could group them all together. But yeah, make sure you leave a like down below if you like videos like this one, and make sure you check me out on Instagram at Willow Rose Moondancer so you can stay up to date with me in my everyday life. And lastly, don't forget to subscribe because I make videos every Tuesday, every Thursday, and every Sunday. And until next time, blessed be.